What do you guys think? You want to do a show?
Let's do a show.
What if we did a show?
Know what you do here?
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to DNVR Nuggets Podcast. We are in rank week, and we're talking about what ifs, the greatest what ifs in Denver sports. And today we're breaking down the greatest
What if
what
there
ifs.
was no lower third on this show?
We don't want to know.
Yeah, bad times.
But we're talking about the greatest what ifs in Denver Nuggets history today. We have a special guest in the building, Jeff Morton.
Hello.
What's up, man?
What the greatest what if is what if I never answered Andy Feinstein's email in
what
2009 to join Denver Stiffs? What would have happened to all of Denver sports?
Play that out. What would happen?
How different would your life be, Jeff? What would you be up to?
About the same thing.
Nah, I was gonna say that's where I was pushing you.
What if?
My life was no different.
That's what I was thinking.
Others' lives will be much different.
We've also got D-Line over there.
That's right. What if I wouldn't have ever listened to Colorado sports guys? And then I don't know if there's a clear line between now and then, but what if there was?
Also, Brendan Vogt's in the house.
How's it going, guys? Happy to be here. Very excited to have Mr. Morton on.
I know.
My first boss. Has he
was gonna
joined
say-
my panel of other bosses?
Holy
I was going to say, if there was no Jeff at that point in time,
There'd be no Brendan
there
Vogt.
would be no
That's
and
for
there
sure.
would be
God,
like the fabric of DNVR falls apart.
I feel like just for content purposes, we have to make Kale your boss. I mean, obviously, I don't want to give him any power.
No,
I'm
I think
terrified
it's
at
the
that
right move.
concept, but
I think it's the right move.
What a bit.
We're going to run down the top 10 what ifs in Denver Nuggets history, a list that we have created. And we had to have you on, Jeff.
Perfect guy
because
to
you
have
are
it.
the
history guy.
resident Nuggets historian.
Yep. Old.
And
Again, Jeff and I think I'm older than Jeff, just to be clear.
This is actually true. Eric is like a month and
Yeah.
change older than me.
Yep.
My birthday is in 2 days as of this week.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Jeff.
happy birthday.
Yep. But we had you
And
on to
I
be the
guess
old
happy
guy.
birthday, Eric. Yeah. Before we get into the top 10, though, I mean, what have you thought of this offseason, man?
Well, it's a great off season. I mean, Lithuanian difficulties aside, it's been a great off season.
I like the way you made that sound like a true international conflict.
At this point, it is based on all the Greek people who are very, very upset.
Yeah. I mean,
and are sending me very nasty things.
Oh yeah, I'm locked into international battle with the Greeks. I feel like I'm coming out victorious, though. To be honest, like I've got more.
I don't think it's been decided yet. But.
It's true. It's true.
I think that's up to Big Val and the Nuggets.
Well, yeah,
who's really the Nuggets.
I said a couple days ago on my podcast, it's like, I'm sick of talking about this. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
I know.
This is the least interesting part of this offseason.
We begged and begged for content, and the content gods said,
They blessed us.
we will give you one storyline for 3 weeks.
We wished upon a cursed monkey's paw.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it seemed like they had an A off season, but if they don't get Valanciunas,
A minus.
A minus.
Yeah.
From A plus.
Yeah. The margins are so thin in the NBA right now. It's like, I guess a backup center could make that much of a difference.
For this team, I think it could.
Yeah, and look, David Adelman, notwithstanding him describing him as a point center.
Yeah. Just put that one under the rug.
But I think other than that, the Nuggets hadn't had a really big quality backup center. They say Boogie. I think he was past it by that point. He was still good. I think it was basically Plumlee was the perfect backup for Jokic. Yeah. So if he can go into that role, I'm happy.
Yeah. Are you a Cam Johnson fan?
Yeah, I am. I'm not. I wasn't. He's not a guy that I ever invested anything in, but I think he's been
in the Eastern Conference for
and it's just he is good in the ways that Mike wasn't good.
Yep.
And I think that is what you need. What did Ben Tenzer say about creating in a lab someone who could be complementary to Nikola Jokic? Hi Ben, if you're watching this, still the best ping pong player I've ever seen. And I just don't, I think that sort of thing is perfect for this offseason. I'm actually looking forward to seeing how immediate the change and how well he adapts to coming in, because you need intelligent guys. One of the things with Mike was that Mike has intelligence, I suppose, in some areas, but sometimes basketball wasn't one of them.
It's not the headline on his scouting report.
No.
It's not the headline.
Did you guys see Mike's first couple quotes to the Brooklyn media?
Amazing. They're so good.
I love that guy, man.
He said, I'm not a very anxious guy, so I got the call, and I said, well, I guess I'm traded, and then I took a nap.
That's amazing.
His story about running into John Wallace at the Four Seasons bar and not knowing he was the
I didn't know that
the executive vice president of player personnel.
Yeah.
It is like just an all-time Mike story.
That's peak Mike, really. Him not knowing the guy they just hired, it's like that's really what you expect, basically.
Yeah. Do they need anything else, do you think? They have 14 guys, counting Valanciunas, on the roster. Maybe they keep that 15th spot open. I personally think they could use another quote-unquote ball handler.
Yes, I agree.
I'm kind of wary about going into the season with, Jamal and Pickett being your only true point guards with Bruce Brown in there.
Yeah.
I would like another ball handler.
I agree. But I'm trying to remember back to 2023. How much point guarding did Bruce do?
He did a fair amount, and he was not that great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Do
wasn't
you
very
remember
good.
who the backup point guard was to start that season?
Ish Smith?
Was it Bones?
I believe
It was Bones.
Bones/Ish Smith.
Yeah.
And Bones was sort of phased himself out of the plan as the year went along. But to Eric's point and Jeff's question, Bruce was signed by Denver. Some of the appeal was they told him you get to play some point.
Yeah.
He was a point guard by default, I would say, more than excellence.
Yeah.
I just think back to like the ball pressure they faced against the Thunder and Clippers. And they're not going to have Russell Westbrook.
I agree.
Is a great enough ball handler to
First off, are we
overcome
sure of that? Are we positive? We're not going to have Russell Westbrook? Are we positive?
I'm pretty sure.
Although that man is looking like he's out of options. Not that I'm saying this is one. I'm just, it's not, and I don't. That's not a victory lap on. I'm just noticing like it. He opted out, and the Kings deal did not come to fruition, and Russ is just out there.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a Kings organization that really desperately needed to move money to sign Dennis Schroeder, you're not going to be able to go to that Vivek Ranadive led.
Doesn't Schroeder seem like a guy where if he falls into your lap, that's one thing. But going out of your way to create cap space to get him,
he should never be a primary target in free agency.
Right.
He should be a backup default
Yeah,
option.
your summers shouldn't be about freeing up space for Dennis. I feel.
If that's your priorities, then your priorities are wrong.
Yeah. Let's get into it, though. We got 10 what-ifs to go through, and we're going to start with 10, work our way down to 1, and look, this is just a rough 1 through 10 ranking that I put together, but we can talk about it. If we left anything off, we can add it in, and by the end of the show, we can come to a consensus 1 through 10. But at number 10, I've got, what if Anthony Carter doesn't turn the ball over in Game 1 against the Lakers?
Yeah,
I literally saw him in the airport yesterday.
He's a coach on the Heat.
He was going to Memphis, and his son is playing for the Kings.
His son
And
is
so
playing
we
for
were
the
watching
Kings.
his son play. Yeah, man, this is a big one for me because this was the biggest moment of my renaissance of my fandom for the Denver Nuggets.
Really quickly, for those younger fans, newer fans, recent converts, we're talking about the 2009 Western Conference Finals, Game 1 even, where you could argue right off the bat, this is the sliding doors moment of the series. Maybe Denver lost it right here. They're trailing 101-99 with just about 30 seconds remaining. I think maybe 31. And Billups darts open. Carter misses the first window. Goes for it anyway on a kind of lazy pass to Billups. Ariza steals it. Scores. That seals Game 1. And you could argue, and with the way it played out, right then and there, the Nuggets blew their chances of stealing the series and making their first ever finals.
Yeah.
Well, I would not to do it. Well, actually, but
actually,
Do it.
Game 3
Yeah.
is worse.
We were just talking about this upstairs because everybody associates Anthony Carter with that series.
Yep.
But Kmart's turnover in Game 3 was a worse pass. It
Yes.
was way worse.
Yes, and George God bless him, couldn't design an inbounds play to save his life.
They were not very elaborate plays, I will say. I rewatched them like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, it's just they're so. It's like if you have two plays, the one in Game 3, I think they were down by.
It was the same exact
4?
situation. They were down 97-95 in Game 3 with 37 seconds left.
Yeah.
They were down 101-99 with 30 seconds left
Yeah.
in Game 1. Same exact situation.
And Game 3 is the one where J.R. Smith decks Sasha Vujicic for no reason, and at the start of the fourth quarter.
No reason at all.
Some reason.
So basically, the what
had a reason.
what if if we just had a whole different set of players?
So essentially, what I'm saying to you is there are many things that went wrong in
Yes.
that 6-game
Well,
series.
surely. But let's entertain this particular little.
Are you
fancy
saying I should do the exercise instead of introducing other variables?
Well, I would never suggest that you do exercise of any kind.
Oh, well,
Jeff,
no,
But in this
no.
case, let's just do it together. Let's follow this out. So, the Nuggets, as I recall, and maybe you can correct me, but
Right.
this is again like I was very, very into this. We were going up against the Lakers when it meant the Lakers. Kobe is on that team. It is Kobe versus Melo. The Nuggets are making their first real push to be an actual force. They get
They
eliminated. in the
ripped through the Hornets. Ripped through them.
They had a game where they beat them by 40 points. It was just like it was embarrassing.
The
And it
NBA
felt
record,
like
I believe.
58.
58. And it really felt like the Nuggets for the first time because every other year in the Melo tenure they just got eliminated in the first round.
Right.
This was when they were making a real push, and it felt so real, so new, so delicate, so fragile.
Yep.
This was the first year I got into watching the Nuggets.
Yes. And for whatever reason, in my mind, in the mind of a lot of others, it comes down to this play. The fact that you said it's in Game 1, like I would have told you it was in Game 7. Like,
Yeah.
It kind of set the tone for a lot of
it
the
just
series.
felt like yes, because the Nuggets were clinging. They were holding on. They were fighting so hard, and then when the big moment came, they folded like that, and like they did it more than once. But imagine they win that game and the whole series flips.
Right.
Like
Do you take Game 1 in LA?
it's
You probably win the series.
you probably win the series.
We watched it together. It may have been the bubble days, guys. That we
It
were
was.
doing.
Is it?
rewatched
Yeah,
it.
we
Oh,
You
watched
guys,
it in
you guys were
2020.
going through the games.
I remember
Yeah,
thinking two
that.
things. A, that was Chauncey Billups' team in the playoffs.
Yep.
And B, that they could have won that series.
They totally could.
They totally could have. And so it doesn't, you look at the series when the dust settles and in NBA history, it doesn't look like a what if, but if you're a Nuggets fan, you hold on to these two moments that you
Yes,
guys
yep.
mentioned.
It's the Kmart turnover in game. It was
It's such
so
a bad pass.
It's so.
It's
bad.
like way worse than the Anthony Carter pass.
To me, it is because Carter at least knew how to pass, and there's a reason George Karl had him in there a lot.
But he said that was the other issue is that he put Anthony Carter in to make that pass.
Oh
That-
yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's the whole thing. It's like it was all set up
Yeah.
for him to get like they had something going
and
they
he
put
just
him in.
lofts it up in the air.
Oh.
Yes, and because he wasn't playing in the
Ariza,
the
man.
crazy times. But they put him in because he was the backup point guard. He
Yeah.
wasn't the main point guard, but they put him in specifically to make that pass. We were all on
and
pins
Billups
and
is
needles.
open. He just misses the window. It's like there's 1 second to hit it. He waits too long and then just lofts it in there, man.
And there's probably a little choking going on at that moment.
I mean,
too.
there was a
It's
lot of
just,
choking, mostly me at home, dying from eating Cheetos. But in the end, I mean, like, listen, does it matter? Does it not matter? It felt big at the moment. I think most of the longing that followed that was just based on the fact that felt like the closest we were ever going to get to an NBA
Yeah.
title.
Yep.
And now that we live in rings culture, whatever, ladies,
Yes.
enjoy your little title. Who cares?
Our standards are bigger than the second round now.
But the ramifications of that what if are huge, right?
Huge.
Yeah.
They win a title. Does Melo stay?
Right.
Well, there's no doubt they beat the Orlando Magic. The Orlando
Yeah,
Magic.
that's the other thing.
Do they win the title? I think yes.
Yep.
What did the Lakers win the championship in? 4 or 5?
I think it
5.
was-
Five?
it was a 5, yeah.
Yep.
And so does Melo stay? Is that the start of a Denver? Is that one and done? Does Denver hang around for a while? There's more to come on this what if list from that
Well, yeah,
several year
that's a
stretch,
good question
but-
because Melo, I don't necessarily think championships was the first priority he had in leaving, but I think the lure of excellence would have been a bigger mitigator.
Yes. Well, very well said.
Yeah. Very well said. Let's take a break.
thank you.
This is shaping up to be like a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
We'll go quicker. Yeah,
I
we'll
will
go
talk. I
quicker.
will talk. I will give you one word answer.
What if we don't? What if we cut Jeff's mic?
We'll hit a break and then we'll get to the top 9 what if moments in Denver Nuggets history.
You're too ambitious.
We've made it through one.
What if I cracked open a Miller Lite right now? I would enjoy it, and I would not feel like I just drank a can of bread, which is how I feel after I drink an IPA. Since 1975, Miller Lite has been the go-to beer to fill up the cooler when it's a good day to grill. It's been a bunch of great days to grill lately. And again, sometimes the delicious food, the barbecue sauce, the bread, the cornbread gets a little filling. The beer should be lighter. That's where Miller Lite comes in. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's why they've had the same light beer since 1975, the original and still iconic 50 years later. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/DNVR to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Cheers to 50 years of Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs for 12 ounces.
Check out Red Hawk Roofing if you have any roofing needs, and they'll deliver. They're the best roofers out there. They're actually the only roofers I would ever think of using. They're the best in the business. They're the pros. They're the best at what they do. And look, I mean, summer, perfect time to make sure your roof is in tip-top shape. Hail can happen this time of year. You want to be on top of your roof, in this season for sure. So, decades of experience, quality materials, quick response time, Colorado's best estimators and contractors, huge DNVR supporters as well. So they'll give you a free no obligation roof and property inspection. They'll give you a free in-depth photo report for all inspections as well. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, 720-771-8921, redhawkroofing.com. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast, special guest Jeff Morton of CSG podcast.
Sometimes
Forecast.
Denver Stiffs.
I saw an article from you on Denver Stiffs not that long ago.
I whenever I feel inspired, I'll write something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to double check the calendar. I was like, what year is it? What year is it?
It's 2010 again.
Jeff Morton.
Yeah. Well, we're counting down the top 10 Denver Nuggets what ifs. Let's go to number 9. What if David Thompson's career stays on track? Vogt?
Yeah, just a
What's
little
the rundown?
Just a little context if you're missing it. Of course, the diehards know this. David Thompson, the Skywalker, MJ's favorite player, essentially loses his peak, his really, really impressive peak, which is kind of like an Albert Pujols, like right out of the gate peak. It's going to be the first 10 years of his career looking like a special player. Loses that peak to addiction and opens his career with 4 straight All-Star appearances. He's the rookie of the year who almost wins MVP. I think he finished second, actually. His
He
rookie
did.
year.
He started his career in the ABA, played one season in the ABA, got second in MVP as a rookie.
And won Rookie of the Year. In the NBA history, Wilt Chamberlain, Wes Unseld, the only rookies to win an MVP award. Skywalker almost did it in the ABA right off the bat. He was a miracle scorer, really. This was a guy who averaged upwards of 20 points per game, got all the way up to, I think, 25 points per game.
27 points a game.
27 points per game in his third season. But in 81,
on 52% shooting.
In 81 and 82, you can really see where his story takes a turn and his points per game drops off from 25.5 the year before to 14.9.
Yep.
And he's never the same player. And obviously his story is a what-if story ultimately.
Yeah.
He got deep into cocaine, and it was because he was given the biggest contract in professional sports history by the Denver Nuggets because the New York Knicks were threatening to sign him. So they dumped
that big market.
A dump truck full of money up to his door, almost caused the team to go into bankruptcy, but that's a different story. But it is like they did this, and then he just couldn't handle it.
Didn't he also have an injury or something?
He
too,
fell
that
down the
kinda came
stairs
that
at
same-
Studio 54.
Right.
Just
In New York?
Yep, was high on coke and fell down the
Dang.
stairs.
So we it didn't matter. We stole him away from New York, but New York ruined him either way.
Yes, it did. It's amazing. He was the one.
Yeah.
He was the superstar in Denver,
Yeah.
and if he stays well, I have no doubt in my mind that Nuggets team would have competed and been high up there because they went to the Western Conference Finals in their second year in the NBA.
Right.
And he fades really out of NBA lore, as Nuggets fans were familiar. I think a lot of Michael Jordan, stands, if you will, are familiar because, of course, it's his favorite player. But he doesn't. He kind of fades out of the public eye altogether. I mean, he becomes a sort of white whale interview.
Oh, he's the most underrated and slept on player in Nuggets history.
A problem for us to have him in studio and get to hang out with him. He's a hard guy to talk to and get a hold of. But I was in awe meeting him because I know what he meant to Nuggets fans and Michael Jordan and basketball history. It's a real what if. This is the biggest one, I think, maybe outside of just the Denver silo.
Yeah.
What if for the NBA? I mean, what if David Thompson stays on track is a real question.
You ask players from that era about David Thompson, and they're like, oh my God, dude, he was incredible.
Yeah.
I had a long interview with Dan Issel about the 1970 led the 70s Nuggets. Mm-hmm. And Issel was saying this is the best team I ever played on with due respect to the 85 Western Conference Finals team. And he was just in awe of David Thompson, saying like this was just the single best player he had ever seen. And the talent was just incredible. If you see highlights of him jumping out of the gym,
He walked on air.
Skywalker.
6'4".
He walked on air.
Unbelievable.
He was Skywalker for a reason.
To me, I mean, with due respect to your rankings here, it's one of the biggest because the Nuggets history changes completely because of that addiction.
Yeah. Sad, but a pivotal point in Nuggets history for sure. Okay, we can move on to number 8. Number 8, what if George Karl doesn't get cancer?
Ooh.
So really around the timeline of what we've talked about earlier, the Nuggets trying to win a title, the Nuggets trying to keep Melo, losing Melo. In the midst of this, cancer returns to George Karl, and in a very aggressive form. It's head and neck cancer and throat cancer ultimately, and we know affected his voice box ultimately. This is 2010, and the Nuggets are still rolling. They're still a good team. They're still heading in the right direction. But at the All-Star break, he announces that he's dealing with cancer once again. He is placed on leave for the rest of the season. Assistant coach Adrian Dantley fills in as the acting head coach. And the rest of the season goes really poorly. And they drop from the 2nd seed to the 4th seed. And they lose in the first round. And obviously George Karl does return. But this is a real kneecapper of the momentum that the Nuggets organization has.
How good was that Nuggets team that year?
It was better than the year before.
Really?
They were legitimately better.
Maybe on their way to winning a title, at least make it contending for one.
I'll tell you this, that Nuggets scared the Lakers so much. That is why they brought in Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, and to guard Melo, basically, very specifically. But George going out like that, there's a double whammy of him going out and Adrian Dantley being the interim. That just crippled that team, and
It
they weren't
totally
the same.
seemed like it changed the whole feel and identity and just vibe.
Yep.
It did. Like that was, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the season after the Lakers lost the Anthony Carter pass. Yes, the Nuggets seemed like, and the worst part is that all of the rumors about Melo going to New York, demanding a trade were already in the air.
No.
George Karl going out, it was just one of those things where you felt like something real had been created, and then it just immediately the balloon popped. Like there were 6-7 things that all converged, and it just completely set the Nuggets right back to where they'd been before, and you felt like, wow. And which again is like why you look back at that Anthony Carter pass is such a pivotal thing. It's because truly, for as potent of a team as they were, they really had just that one run, and that ended against the Lakers. And so the George Karl thing, exactly, like, when he came back, it wasn't the same team. There was a lot of animosity, not towards him, obviously, but like just in the air, like, the Melo thing had completely swelled up and overtaken the squad.
Yep.
And Adrian Dantley, just didn't, like his fault, not his fault, whatever the case may be, the squad just splintered. And then that was the end.
It's amazing. George tried to coach through it. He was getting chemo.
I was reading about this.
And radiation and trying to coach. And it would last for about 2 weeks, and then he just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I think that
Were you around the team?
that's the year I met George.
Okay.
The first time I met him. And I came in to covering the Nuggets in 2009 during that season. And I didn't get to really know him until actually the summer after, in 2010, but it was just, you could tell they were on this trajectory. They were going up, up, up.
Dude, it was so exciting.
Right. 2009 wasn't actually the end.
No.
The death knell to that version is 2010 and George Karl's diagnosis.
Yep.
Yeah, but I was reading an article from around that time where he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna, miss any treatments.
Yep.
He said I'll miss games for treatments," and he wasn't traveling. I think he was only doing home games.
He was only doing home games. Yep.
And yeah, it was just.
It was a game against the Timberwolves. I think it was his last game, and it just even then the team was starting to go down. They just
Really?
He just wasn't able to have that control over the team, and
Yep.
it just didn't work. It's really sad, actually. I mean, no matter what you think of George, it just was a really sad thing.
Few head coaches have gotten closer to the ultimate prize and not gotten it.
Yep.
While ultimately succeeding throughout the rest of their career by other benchmarks. But George Karl, I mean, the question "what if," as I'm sure one he's asked himself at times.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. We can probably hit one more here before we take our second break. Next up, we've got, what if LaPhonso Ellis
Jeff
blow out his knee?
has his doctorate in this.
This is why we had to have Jeff on the show. I mean, this is his wheelhouse.
God.
So let's talk about LaPhonso Ellis' stats for a second. You'll notice from age 22 to 26, this guy is a baller. Like, this guy is, particularly in the 1996-97 season, where he gets up to 22 points per game. And you're really wondering sort of what kind of a player can he be. But two different and consecutive knee injuries changed the tenor of his career. On September 11th, actually, 1994, in a pickup game
Never
with
forget.
with Bryant Stith.
So what happened with this?
He suffers a stress fracture of his right
In a
kneecap in a pickup
Yes.
game.
In the offseason.
In the offseason.
Like a summer open gym
Yes.
run.
Okay, no.
It'd be like finding out like right now.
It was
basically.
2 or 2.5 weeks before they opened camp.
Oh,
And I wanted to die.
So he only ends up playing 6 games that year. So that's the year he
At the
averages
very end of
4
the year.
points at the end of the year.
Yep.
And then in 1995, guys, Ellis suffers an injury to his left knee, which causes him to lose half the season.
Yep.
It's another lost year. Now he bounces back with a really strong 96-97. That's the year I just mentioned where he averages 22 points per game. But the knee injuries ultimately sap him. And from there, the numbers plummet. Yep. Goes down to 14 points per game, then 10. He's just never this same player. So 2 different knee injuries, one in season, one in the off season, sap LaPhonso Ellis from a potentially very, very different Nuggets career.
That I remember where I was reading at.
I'm guessing at home.
Get out of my head. I remember sitting at the end of the dinner table, opening up the newspaper.
Oh my God.
LaPhonso Ellis out for the year, injures his knee in a freaking pickup game at the Highlands Rec Center with Bryant Stith.
Yes.
And I just lost it. He's by far my favorite player. I could go on for days about this. I won't, because this is hopefully a 1-hour show.
What if we did?
Yes. And that team lost its soul immediately.
Yeah.
feel free to go on about
Yeah.
it. I would love to know more.
Well,
about
this is also like this was the very first iteration of me falling in love with the Denver Nuggets was this season, or the previous season. That was the Mutombo holding the ball. It was like they really turned into something. They had young players. They had exciting players. They upset George Karl and the Seattle Supersonics, an 8 seed beating a 1 seed, which is just unheard of, obviously. Only in 5 games, the playoffs were shorter then for the first rounds. And so it was, another thing where it's like wow, we're finally somebody. We're finally making this happen. They just rebranded. They had the navy blue with the gold, that 90s look. It was like everything was kind of coming together. It was not that dissimilar from what we just went through with this version of the Denver Nuggets. Like they rebrand, all of a sudden they're actually like good. They're paying attention. And then it just again, like just the balloon opens up, completely deflates. LaPhonso Ellis, who's very, very exciting. I'm sure you've seen the clip of him jumping up and blocking the ball by just grabbing it with two hands.
Oh,
like one hand and like coming down. Like he's a freak of nature.
He seemed to me like a type of athlete that was a little ahead of his time.
Yeah, both him and Antonio McDyess.
Yes.
But both of them were way ahead of their times as far as that goes.
And
I got to tell you, I met Fonz several times, but I interviewed him for Denver Stiffs in about former PR guy Tim Gelt set me up with him because those two are really close. And I got this interview with him. I had this new device on my phone or an app on my phone I could use to record the call. And it's an hour long. He told me every story I could possibly get. I end the call and it didn't record.
Oh my God.
So I saw him like
what if we had that recorded?
Yes, I saw him a year later and I told him and he says, "Why didn't you call me back?" I said, "I was too embarrassed. I didn't want to call you back." But
we've all had one of those.
That's my guy. If you with due respect to the modern guys, LaPhonso Ellis is my Nugget.
Yeah. And Mr. Nugget?
He's Mr. Nugget. He is Mr. Everything as far as I'm concerned.
He wants to be Mr. Morton, it sounds like.
Yeah. Eventually. And it was just so sad and it killed that team.
Yeah.
It absolutely killed that team.
Yeah, for me the what if is what does that team turn into, which is the town was completely enraptured with Denver Nuggets. That was, let's get ready to Mutombo. John Elway. Like McNichols Arena was just, or was that ball yet? Or was that
no, it was Big Mac.
McNichols Arena, but it was, Denver can kind of ebb and flow with their fandom for specific teams.
Yeah.
But this was as flow as you can get for the Denver Nuggets. Like it was
sold out every game the next year. They because of that playoff run.
Yes. And so like the cultural footprint for the Denver Nuggets in Denver, Colorado would have been much larger than it was for when you showed up. It wouldn't have been just like the cultural wasteland that it had been for years because there was something really fun, special, exciting about that team.
That's my team.
Yeah, and for me as a younger person then, like it really got me engrossed in the squad, and then, they just befell like tragedy after tragedy and the bad front office decisions, and they just could never. Yeah, they couldn't recapture anything of what they did that year. So.
People say,
you know what? Can you put a pin in that?
Yeah,
we should hit a break, but I do want to hear everything else you have to say. Empire today, they're the emperors of, I must call them the kings of flooring. They're the emperors of flooring. They're the goats of flooring. Just like your favorite team needs a home court field ice advantage. They have that in there for every team. I could have just said court. I read them all like Ron Burgundy. Your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today is flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Not just one shift of the week at the big store. This is what they do every day. They live, they breathe flooring. And they know that you should get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. And you should get precise measurements taken and have all of your questions answered so there are no surprises before this very costly commitment. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard that right. A $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/DNVR for full details.
Also, shout out to Raising Cane's and the Raising Cane's summer road trip. If you're heading out on a summer road trip, you got to pick up some Raising Cane's when you're on the road. Order at RaisingCanes.com or on the Cane's mobile app to satisfy your chicken finger fix in a snap.
You can just fill your center console, your cup holder, with just cane sauce. Like no need for a container. Make sure that you have easy access.
Yeah, and there's your liquid for the road trip right there. At Raising Cane's, every chicken finger is hand battered and cooked to order. Crinkle cut fries, crispy and perfectly salted. Every Texas toast buttered to perfection. Every cane sauce made in restaurant each day. and ready to be dipped in. Are you hungry yet?
Yes.
Yeah. Get your order today at Cane's and keep the road trip going. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love. All right, back here on the DNVR Nuggets podcast, we got special guest Jeff Morton in the house.
Making your podcast
keep
go
waxing poetic about
this is
LaPhonso
good,
Ellis
man.
and that era of Nuggets basketball.
That is my.
I was enjoying that.
That's my team. People get. I'll say this 100%. Every other era of the Denver Nuggets didn't make history. That one did.
It's true.
They were the first team to ever beat an 8 seed in the playoffs, and I will hold on to that for the rest of my life. That team had such promise. I was watching Game 5 again like a couple of years ago, and Dick Enberg saying, "You're going to be hearing from these Denver Nuggets for a long time."
Wow,
Joke's
what
on
a
you,
haul.
Dick.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my god, I just was like, I felt that feeling
Who else
again.
was on that team?
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Yep.
Dikembe
Dikembe
Mutombo.
Mutombo. LaPhonso Ellis, obviously. Bryant Stith. Was Rodney Rogers on there? Or was that the next year?
Rodney Rogers,
Robert Pack, who I
Robert
just saw at
Pack.
the airport.
The Pac Man.
Robert
That guy
Pack.
was
Brian
jacked.
Williams.
Is he still jacked?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I love
That's awesome.
That wasn't a
Robert
in-season
Pack, man.
thing. That's
Yeah.
his constitution.
That's Robert Pack.
Robert Pac-Man, best dunker I've ever seen in a Nuggets uniform.
Yeah. You said Dale Ellis?
Not yet. Dale Ellis was the following year. Brian Williams.
Mark Macon?
No, he's gone. Who? But Macon was gone by the next year. Marcus.
You don't know Mark Macon, dude? Come on, man.
Marcus Liberty was gone too.
Did he play with Joe Folks?
Yeah, you might as well have.
Tom Hammonds? Reggie Williams.
Reggie
Reggie Williams. Yep.
Yeah.
They were fun, man. They were, I mean, again, like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf is my favorite Nuggets player outside of Nikola Jokic. And LaPhonso Ellis was, if you take the manimal and you make him like even more dynamic and more imposing, just pure energy guy, but like he could also shoot the ball. Like he was dynamic. I mean, the only way to describe it, LaPhonso Ellis was dynamic, and he had an incredible personality too. Like,
Is there
just a
anybody that he
magnetism.
played like today?
I mean,
Maybe AG, but AG with a jump shot, with like a mid-range jump shot.
Yeah.
But Fonz's dunks were amazing.
Yeah.
He would hang on the rim and spin around.
yeah,
and
dude,
like,
he was,
oh my god!
because he was like a showman a little bit.
yeah,
as
he
well.
was. Oh my god! And the best smile.
Yeah, it's a
It's
beautiful
the
man.
magazine.
Just
Just-
a beautiful man.
And
Fonz called Jeff, please.
call Morton again. He wants to interview again. And hopefully, get it.
Like, oh, that guy. All right. Let's move on. Next up, what if Danilo Gallinari doesn't get? There's a lot of injuries on
Dude,
this
this is
list.
like just pure. I didn't realize that this is just like a pain
It's just
train.
What
pure
if
pain.
Gallo doesn't get injured at the end
The
of
comic
the
branding
57 win season?
is so good, but the comic panel is just being guys getting hurt or like succumbing to addiction.
It looks like he's getting wheeled off in a lawn chair.
Yeah.
Right there.
Let's all
Okay,
have
so
that game,
yeah,
that game.
Nuggets fans remember this run real well. Danilo Gallinari is well. We mentioned the death knell to that version of the Nuggets in 2010. However, the Nuggets would rebound under George Karl, and with some of the pieces that they acquired in an eventual Melo trade, which I'm sure we'll touch on later, they put together a really well-rounded roster in the 2012-2013 season. Well-rounded, not very top-heavy guys. In fact, no All-Stars, no All-NBA defense teams, no All-NBA teams. Just a bunch of fellas playing together. Power of friendship. They finished third in the West. Gallo, their second leading scorer by margins, tears his ACL right before the playoffs. And a team that was about who they were as a collective loses a key piece, and the collective ultimately falls in the playoffs.
You want to go first?
Oh my God, I hate this so much. This was the 57 win season, as you mentioned. Gallinari his importance could not be understated on that squad. That team ran and ran and ran. I think they lost one, maybe two games at home all season long.
Yep.
You could not come to Denver and win against that team. Ty Lawson was running the squad. They had Andre Iguodala for one ill-fated season. Their loss in the playoffs gave rise to the Warriors dynasty. That was the first time the Warriors became the Warriors. They started to rain holy hellfire
the first
down
round loss to the
on
Warriors.
the Nuggets in the first round. But the Denver Nuggets were so good, so fun that year. And the worst part is that Gallo, in just kind of a meaningless play at the end of a game, I think maybe 7 games before the playoffs started, like just really the very last part where you're just thinking about seeding, you're jockeying for position, goes down. And I was at the game and I was just like, I was gobsmacked. I just was like, couldn't wrap my head around it. Gallo did his best. He like went to Vail and like put videos up saying he was doing some weird experimental surgery.
Let me put you guys on the spot.
Stedman.
If he's healthy, do they beat the Warriors in the first round?
Yes, they do.
At least that first round they win.
Yes.
They delay the Warriors
This
dynasty
could be
was
the
inevitable.
biggest what if in NBA history.
The Warriors dynasty was inevitable, but it delays it for a year.
Yes.
Because Gallo was so important to that team, not because of him per se, but he made everything work around him because the Nuggets were so like connected in that way. Every part was important. And Gallo allowed George Karl to go small in the second unit without Kosta Koufos or Timofey Mozgov or anything like that. And I'll never forget it. It was against Dallas. He drives in the lane, grabs his knee. The entire crowd, you were there, the entire crowd goes silent.
It actually
Silent.
sounds unfortunately familiar,
Yes.
I will say. A little bit different, but one we're going to talk about later in this show for sure.
Gallo going down, I have no doubt. I don't know how far they make it. They would have played the Spurs in the next round. That Spurs team was the one that should have won the top finals that year. But I do think that Nuggets team, Nuggets history, NBA history is altered because of Gallo's injury.
Definitely. Yes, I don't know either. That team was formidable, though. I mean, they played a style that, looking back on it now, not that compatible with the playoffs. It was they were a run and gun.
They probably would not have won a title.
No.
Probably not, but it certainly felt again. Stop me if you've heard this before. The balloon lost its air, dude.
Yes.
The Nuggets are nothing but blowing up a balloon and then letting it out, like just like a over and over and over, just. Which is why that it was like so. I couldn't believe that it actually happened when it did happen. That the balloon actually ascended off of Earth and into space. But it just was another thing where it's like after the Melo thing, Denver was in such a place where, as a fan, you just were kind of embarrassed. Like you had this guy that you loved so much. He went out of town. He clowned you on the way out. Lala, his wife, like made a bunch of bad comments about Denver. And you're like, this sucks. Like, and then he held the team hostage for a year.
Yep.
Masai Ujiri, who was the GM at the time, was very firm. Like he actually was. This is the greatest, the second greatest thing that he ever did as a GM. First, of course, being Kawhi to win the championship. But like he played such hardball with the Knicks, knowing that Melo was demanding to go there, that he ended up gutting that team, getting Wilson Chandler. Danilo Gallinari. Sadly, we had to send Mr.
Chauncey.
Big Shot Chauncey away, but like we got players back and they rebounded like immediately and did better than any other Nuggets team had ever done in history. So
They
it was
went
like
38-3 at home that year.
it felt like wow, like we're not dead, like we're not just Melo. We actually have something here.
I was so the last thing I'll say about it is that team was fun. They were nationally cool. Zach Lowe wrote about them all the time, about George Karl having Kosta Koufos and Timofey Mozgov stand out of bounds to create spacing in the dunker spot.
Wow, ahead of their time.
And all this stuff. And then, of course, we had all the mole stuff. And I've decided to call that season Gallo and the Mole. Because you can't think of those two things without thinking of Andre Iguodala and his chicanery in the playoffs and Gallo's injury.
I found a line from a story that was written right when Gallo got hurt. Here it is. Gallinari is the Nuggets' second leading scorer. Their top scorer, Ty Lawson, is out indefinitely with a torn right heel. A torn right heel.
I'd
That's
forgotten
gotta hurt.
about Lawson as well. Yeah.
That's a Tar Heel. Ironic.
There you go. Yeah. Gallo.
Yeah, it sucked.
Sucked.
Is there a what if of like what if we partied harder? What if we won something?
I mean, usually what ifs are bad, I feel like.
Yeah.
What if we got ice cream earlier?
Next
if we
up is
never
a
did this
more
show together?
a more modern day what if. Guys, what if Mike Conley
Oh my
makes the
God.
3 in the final moments of Game 7 of the first round series in the bubble?
Yeah, I'll be quick on this one because everyone remembers it. 2020, Nuggets ready to complete the first 3-1 comeback. Murray leads an ill-advised fast break, passes it to Torrey Craig. Craig smokes the layup in a way pretty much only Torrey Craig could do. Jazz on the break, Conley in and out at the buzzer. This is a real true sliding doors moment for the Jokic era. Is Malone the coach when they win a title? Do they win a title?
I've gone back and forth about this. Like, if they lose that series to the Jazz, do they like maybe blow up the team? Do they run it back? I think they probably run it back. Just because it was the bubble, and you can probably blame it on that. But I do feel like this team's toughness, a lot of it was formed in the bubble.
Yep.
It was formed from coming back and beating the Jazz in 7, and then that Clippers series.
Yep.
When they blew them out, in Game 7 of that one. So,
Yep.
I don't know if the Nuggets are the Nuggets if they lose that Game 7.
I believe in organizational momentum is a real thing.
For
And I
sure.
think that was one of those things where, like, the first time we really truly believed in the possibility was when they went to the Western Conference Finals that year after 3-1 comebacks. You go, okay, I didn't think they were going to win, but one day they will, and that doesn't happen without that run.
Man, all I have to think about is how even during COVID, people would have driven down to Disney World with pitchforks and torches to find Torrey Craig wherever he may be.
Yeah, well, you just find him on a reality show. So.
I did speak to one person close to the situation who once said to me, everyone was mad at Torrey for the layup. I was mad at Jamal for passing it to Torrey.
Yeah, Jamal didn't help him out there.
He's like, why are you passing the ball to Torrey Craig
Yeah.
right now?
Why are you trying to like beat everybody up the floor?
Yeah, but like also
You're
like
up.
but also like make the layup.
That too, but no, that too. I think his point was Torrey ever going to make that layup?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Jamal
he's a
probably should not
NBA
have passed
player.
that ball.
The thing is, the craziest thing about that is that moment was longer than the game that preceded it.
Oh my God, the ball
When
was in the air for
the ball
hours.
when he missed it, and I was like, yeah, and we were, I believe, live. I think we were doing a watch along.
I don't think we were on a watch along.
Okay, we were
all watching it right here.
But I just remember being like, it registering to me that the ball did not go in, and then all of a sudden, like, looking at the score that we were up by 2 or 1 or whatever it was, and the shot went up, and I just remember it was like, no.
That was such a ridiculous. It was such an ugly game.
The shot,
It was a terrible
looked
game.
good.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh, it
thing.
totally
Like
did.
that
Yeah.
shot actually probably should have gone in.
Totally.
The Nuggets scored 80 points.
Was
in
that
game.
80-78?
Yeah, it was 80-78, and Jokic scored 30 of them.
Yeah, he was tremendous in that game, and he had just hit the virtual series win pirouette over
Gobert.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I mean, the Nuggets, that would have been, they would have gotten further than they got the year before because they didn't make the playoffs the year before.
Yep.
So, like, I kind of am with you guys. I do think that, I don't know how much of a ripple this would have been because I think they would have run it back. I think they would have felt good.
Sure.
Like, okay, next step,
Yeah.
next step, next step. But the Nuggets made such a leap.
Yeah.
I think for all of us, it just gave us that belief of like, okay, yeah, no, this is it. This is
Yeah,
it.
because
This
Jokic
squad's
won
for
his
real.
first MVP
Yes.
season after that.
Right.
And it just seemed like the definite, launching pad for the
Yes.
contending era.
If they lose in the first round and don't go to the Western Conference Finals, are they aggressive and make the AG trade the next year?
Maybe. I
don't
mean, they
know.
lost Jeremy Grant. Don't forget.
I think that was because of Jeremy Grant, too. I think Jeremy Grant was gone regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to convince Jeremy Grant to stay in
Yeah.
the bubble.
Yeah. And Mason Plumlee.
And Mason Plumlee.
Basically anybody that.
Well,
was-
that one never manifested in any one particular play where you really
Right.
hope
He was
someone
not
swinging
involved in
around
any
Yeah,
critical
Dave
plays that
Bell.
playoff run.
Oh my
Certainly
God.
not in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, there's no one play you reflect on as you hear that. No,
Yeah, like
that's
he would
fine.
never be on the floor for defensive purposes at any big point. Yeah.
Yeah, no point in even talking about it.
All right, we can move on. Next up, kind of a big one, but I slotted it here. What if Carmelo Anthony stays in Denver?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Very quick recap. As Eric explained, that trade the tectonic shifts of the trade had happened a year before. We're starting a year before. In 2011, Carmelo's trade request is accepted. He's traded to the Knicks. The Knicks receive Carmelo, Chauncey Billups, Sheldon Williams, Anthony Carter, Ronaldo Balkman. The Nuggets are going to get Wilson Chandler, Danilo Gallinari, Timofey Mozgov, Raymond Felton, and a handful of picks who turn into Quincy Miller, Romero Osby, Dario Saric. That's a fun
Osby,
one.
bro.
Dario Saric I had forgotten about. And the 2016 pick swap, which turns into Jamal Murray. So that one mattered.
Yes.
Yep.
That trade matters. I mean, right off the bat, that fun year we just talked about where Gallo leads a 57-win team with no All-Stars. What does that year look like?
Well, here, I think if Carmelo Anthony stays in Denver, we don't get the Jokic era.
No.
I mean, that's pretty obvious.
No.
But you were boots on the ground for the Melo trade request. And
God, that was a hell year.
So terrible.
I'll say this: the Nuggets and Melo physically, mentally parted from each other, basically in the offseason of 2010-11, and even going back to the trade deadline of 2009-10, because the Nuggets didn't make a move at the trade deadline, which pissed Melo off. Stan Kroenke vetoes a trade for Andres Biedrich, for which I don't think would have moved the needle.
Wait, what was the trade?
It was I forget who was involved, but I know it was
Biedrich.
Biedrich would have come back from the.
I
think he was on the.
think that would have gotten it done.
I think he was on the Warriors at the time.
I think so. Yeah.
And so the Nuggets do nothing. They stand pat at the deadline, and Melo says, these guys aren't going to do anything for me."
Yeah.
That was Melo's attitude. They're not going to do anything for me. And that's where things started going rapidly downhill. I think Melo would have left anyway, but it made things accelerate and get to the way they got. And I don't know if honestly, if he stays, I don't.
If he stays,
I don't know
I
what
wonder
happened.
if the Nuggets are just like they
Knicks?
develop into like the Knicks type team. I was gonna say the Bulls, but like they probably would have been a little better than that.
I don't know.
Just
man.
a middling Western Conference team.
To me, I feel like if Carmelo doesn't leave, then he doesn't go into the Hall of Fame having no rings. I feel like,
You think he gets a ring here?
man, listen, I don't know. I mean, like him staying says that the relationship is good and they are building off of that foundation that they had. I mean, there's like all the other permutations, but all the other things that happened. But they get Al Harrington. Like they just let's assume that he stays, and that means the organization sees promise. They invest in the team.
Yeah.
The Nuggets were, they were a squad. Like, and the thing is that Carmelo left a team in a bad spot, and then he went to a team that was immediately in a bad spot because they gutted themselves to get him.
Yep.
So he sort of cut his nose to spite his face on both ends of that coin. Like he put himself in a position to never win a title with that trade demand because of the way he went about it, by forcing both the Knicks and the Nuggets' hand, saying that this is the only trade partner that I'll accept. Brooklyn was in there a little bit, but we all knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he put himself, and maybe, I don't know. To me, it's just like it felt like the Nuggets had something, and it's not unthinkable that you could, find a few extra pieces to bring it in to actually make it happen. They were just moving in such a direction. It felt like it was something good was going to come from it.
Yeah. Anything else on Melo?
I think
We're going to go well over an hour here. So
I think we've devoted far too much
that's
mental
actually a
brain
good
space
point.
to Melo.
And we're going to have to do the whole Melo thing when he goes to the Hall of Fame too later this summer. Next up, we've got. I lost my list here for a second. Oh yeah.
Jeez.
What if Jamal Murray doesn't tear his ACL?
Oh my God.
If Jamal Murray doesn't tear his ACL, I think the Nuggets win 2 of 3 titles. And I think there was a version of that core that was supposed to get 2 of 3. And I think our perspective on the timeline was just off by a year or two.
Yeah.
Which caused, at least in my case, to like hold on for another year or two that they'd get back there. But I actually think it was supposed to come on the front end. So let's actually break down exactly what happened. April 12th, 2021. Jamal Murray tears his ACL in garbage time playing against the Warriors.
Against the Warriors.
And the Nuggets...
That cursed arena.
the Nuggets lose that game, if you include that game, they'd gone 8-2 in their first 10 games after acquiring Aaron Gordon.
They won 7 in a row.
They won 7 in a row.
Right
they won
after they
8
got
and 1
Gordon.
in their first 9 games after getting AG. And you mentioned, Zach Lowe kind of talking about the Nuggets at one point. This was where the Nuggets started getting talked about as a potential. Teams in the league, executives in the league, media members who talk to those executives, basically not just us in Denver. That team very well could have won a title. And you look at who won the title that year and you go, well, that seems like a weird title team. I think it was Denver's year and they missed it because of this. You can't just gift a team a title with a what if. I know it doesn't work that way. But to me, this one is as close to no, I think that's exactly how it would have shaken
They
out.
were so good right after they got Aaron Gordon. And what's crazy is usually when you get a guy like AG, it takes some time for him to ingratiate himself with the team and get chemistry. But it was immediate. I mean, they were elite the second Aaron Gordon got here. And it was obvious.
So good.
Yep.
And Conley knew it. And I'll say this. Conley was on Aaron Gordon from the moment he was drafted. And I'll never forget having a conversation in the practice gym with Tommy Balcetis and Tim Connolly, but during the workouts for the 2014 draft. And Conley was just gushing about Aaron Gordon. And he said, this guy, you don't understand. He is perfect and for a defensive complementary role. But he was going to end up going, I think he went 4th that year. And the Nuggets were picking, that was when they were 11th. They ended up drafting.
Is that Manimal?
Was that the Gary Harris year?
Yeah.
Gary Harris and Nurkic?
Yeah, that
For
was the Doug McDermott.
I think they were 8th maybe or 11th?
They were 11th.
10th or something, whatever.
Yeah.
And they ended up trading that. But anyway, Conley knew, and man, did that. I knew something was up, and I always tell people this. Right after the Nuggets played Orlando, right before the trade deadline, Michael Porter Jr. goes right over to Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
And it was a very animated, very positive conversation. And I saw that on the court, and I'm like, they're trading for Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then, boom, deadline, they trade for Aaron Gordon.
Sometimes teams make acquisitions and you get really excited about the high end of what it could look like and how it could all fit together. Aaron Gordon is an example of it working out exactly how we felt at the peak of the hype about it. It worked out maybe better than we could have imagined.
When on paper is actually.
I remember when that trade happened, Tim would tell us that Aaron Gordon was the best possible fit next to Jokic and with Jamal of, any potential gettable player. Mm-hmm. AG was the guy. And it was so funny how everything worked leading up to that trade deadline because he was kind of the belle of the ball of guys who were available.
Right.
But there wasn't a market for him.
Yeah.
Portland was kind of interested. Boston, nobody really wanted him.
It's really weird.
And the Nuggets swooped in with a package that, looking back on it, wasn't even that great.
Shout out Portland, because that should have been a bidding war. But they just kind of
that
bailed.
was when Portland still had Dame and CJ.
I blame the rap songs for about losing the dunk contest. It depressed his mind.
I mean, it's such a lopsided trade.
Yeah.
I think everyone now goes like, oh, Aaron Gordon, what a miracle fit on Denver. I almost feel like it's underrated that Denver got him for what they did. I mean, it was a fleecing.
It was good and it was perfect.
But to follow the what if, Jamal Murray takes it, is Jamal Murray?
We were talking about.
We were going positive, Eric.
Is Jamal Murray Jamal Murray is not the same since then. He probably has not gotten back to that point.
Does he make an All-Star team?
Do the Nuggets win that year? Do they win the next year?
Does he make an All-Star team?
Does he make an All-Star team? Does Team Canada?
He was pretty damn good in the 2023 playoffs.
Incredible, but point being, he was damn good. But I'm just saying,
historic again.
Yes, but
it was a bounce back.
It was a bounce back, and there's been things that have happened. There's been sort of reciprocal things that have happened with his health since that time that you can kind of trace back to. I think Jamal Murray's. It's obviously not over. The writing is not dry or the ink is not dry on Jamal Murray's career at all. But I do think he would be regarded a lot differently than he is right now. We wouldn't look at the Nuggets and Jokic as saying oh, he never played with an all-star, never played with another star player. Jamal Murray was exactly that, and it's been a long road back.
Quick correction, by the way. Earlier, I was reading off a graphic from a Knicks blog that said in 2014 they took Dario Saric with 12, which did not sound right. They picked 11, and they took Doug McDermott.
The Nuggets and Knicks had pick swaps.
That's
and
what
that
it
was
is.
part of the
And that was part of the
pick
Thank
swap.
you, Jeff. Thank you.
I'll say this. Now we got to look at it this way, though. The Nuggets ended up doing the trade. Wanted to trade for. This is where the big what if comes in for me. Trade for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and they were all set to do it during the year.
Right.
But Jamal was
Right.
not committed.
For the people that ask if Tim would have also traded for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope,
I think the answer is absolutely yes.
that's what Jeff's saying.
Yes. I think a lot of these horizontal moves Tim made we're waiting for Jamal and Mike, and if we don't have them both on the floor at the same time,
We're not going to burn our trade
Right.
chips
Yes.
for a team that's not
so
going to be a champion.
Facu, come eat some minutes. We're kicking the can down the road.
They were all in on KCP.
Yeah.
I do think I think the Nuggets would have been a very legit contender, but I do think KCP was that special thing.
Right.
The finishing piece, for sure.
That would have
That
got
they
them
needed.
there. So
right.
I don't know how that timeline would work out, but in general, I mean,
Can we just
that
have
year,
some fun here? They would have won.
You're right.
yeah.
They held on to Barton too long. They were just waiting.
They were
for
waiting.
the moment that this actually made sense.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going overtime. Are we
Join
doing
us on the
that?
internet. Oh,
Oh, okay.
ah, cool.
I was so looking forward to swearing. Jeez.
Not yet, buddy.
Moving on, our next what if. What if Nikola Jokic plays for Barcelona and does not come to the Nuggets?
So the Nuggets draft Jokic, and he stays overseas for a year, and he has a big showcase game lined up because rumor has it through the grapevine that Barcelona really wants Jokic. Really, really wants Jokic.
And so this is when Jokic is still playing in Serbia, but after the Nuggets have drafted him.
After the Nuggets had drafted him. And there are different versions you might hear of this story, but the leading sort of theory and understanding is Jokic essentially throws this showcase game. He does not play very well in it, is the fact of the matter. Barcelona cools on Jokic. They back off, as we know. The rest is some really important Denver Nuggets history. Jokic's wife, Natalia, is already in the States, so that's sort of some of the thinking as to, like, maybe he didn't really want to perform very well in that game. Depending on how you view that part of it. The fact of the matter is Jokic really, really struggles and does not play for Barcelona, ends up playing for the Nuggets. This could have gone a different way.
And then Arturis swoops in and
in.
is able to get Jokic over here on the contract. The reason I have this up so high on this list is I think there's a world where Jokic is cool playing in Europe his whole career. And if he goes to Barcelona and he plays well in that game and signs that contract, I can see a scenario where he's just playing in Europe, and never comes over to the Nuggets.
You're absolutely right. And I think the Nuggets knew how fortunate they were. And I know Arturis did. And I think that is a very big swinging gate. But here's the thing. It's a big swinging gate, but no one knew Jokic would be Jokic. And this is, I mean, I think Conley suspected, based on conversations I had with him, like when they drafted him, I thought that maybe he could be a good player, but maybe not this level.
Not the greatest player of all time.
Not this level. Not what we're seeing. And how dare he? And I am actually. It's a swinging doors moment, but it's not in a. It's obvious to everyone kind of thing, because he would have just been another guy that ends up playing in Europe. And then who knows? Maybe he comes later, But I don't think
maybe he comes later and is just a backup.
Yeah, and maybe some idiot team takes him and doesn't know how to develop that kind of talent. You never know on these sort of things.
Yeah, I mean, I do think he would have come over. Jokic had, talked about always wanting to be in the NBA, but it is like a thing where you don't quite, things break a certain way. Yusuf Nurkic is on the team. Maybe he's like the entrenched center. They don't have a reason to really bring Nikola Jokic over. They don't, I'm sure that obviously he would have killed it in Europe, but we would have just thought of him as like, oh, we got a Euro stash.
Maybe he would have killed it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. I mean, what if? See, it seems hard to fathom the idea that Nikola Jokic wouldn't be able to accommodate the European game. And
probably would have figured it out.
He was the MVP of the Adriatic League.
Probably would have figured it out.
Probably could have put up like 20 and 10.
But
It's crazy talk. It's too the American mind can't comprehend.
I think the
European
real
basketball.
what if at the heart of this question is what if Jokic didn't fall in love with his wife? You know what I mean?
Oh, so you're saying he would want to stay over in Europe?
Right. Like Jokic, I think, was always coming to the States because Natalia came here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
She
if?
was
What
already
if?
here when that
That's a
game
fun
happened.
one. We should say as media that
We
cover
should
the
get him
team.
on the show for that one.
Yeah, dude. What have you ever considered? What if you didn't?
what if you left your wife?
What if you didn't marry
I
your
mean,
wife?
like, or if it
I wouldn't put it like, what if you didn't love your wife? I would do more of a,
stay out of this game, Jeff. You're not in it.
what,
You're not
what
a
if,
media guy
what
like
if,
this.
what if you just never met her? Or,
Yeah. I'm actually not going to ask him that, but it's a fun question to ask on this show.
just ask it without context.
There are
and
so
see what
many
happens.
little what ifs along the Jokic journey
It's-
that are
I mean,
just
my God.
so fascinating. Should we go to number one?
Let's do it.
What's the
Number
number
one.
one what if?
What if the Nuggets win the NBA draft lottery in 2003 and draft LeBron James? Because I actually did not know this until, I looked back at the lottery. I didn't know they had the same odds as the Cavs.
Coin flip.
A coin flip to get LeBron.
Yeah. Well, you're assuming the odds were actually the deciding factor.
Oh,
in that
sorry.
draft.
I mean, it was obviously rigged. We all know that. But in theory, a coin flip to get LeBron.
Right. In theory.
Communism works in theory.
So you for
In
sure
theory.
never get the Jokic era because LeBron's like just takes one. Well, probably not.
He probably leaves instead
Yeah,
of signing
dude.
the second contract that Melo did.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say like that would have just been
I don't
Melo
know.
2.0. I mean, but
But
obviously,
look
like,
at the
maybe-
teams put
maybe
around.
not.
No. I think if LeBron is just mellow on those 2009 and
The
2010
Nuggets probably
teams,
surround him with a better supporting cast than Cleveland did.
I think that team would have just won a title.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know because remember the year before Kiki Vandeweghe drafted Nikola Skidishvili,
Yeah.
thinking that he was going to be the next Dirk Nowitzki, and he turned
Everybody
out to
was
be
looking for
the
one.
next colossal bust.
he turned out
Yeah.
to be
The
the
next-
current Nikola.
The next MVP of Summer League is actually what he was.
I mean, is it so
Hunter
bu-
Tyson
Is it
silly.
so butterfly though that they can't we safely assume like let's say they put that same 2009 roster around LeBron, don't they just win a title?
Probably.
Well, yeah. Yeah, LeBron and Kmart would have been an interesting combination there.
Yeah.
It would have been a sick team.
I think, I honestly, I look at that and I think the Nuggets were never destined to win. The Nuggets have had a lot of hard luck in the lottery, but that
They've never
one
moved
seemed
up.
like it was destined for LeBron to go to Cleveland.
destined.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Predetermined
Destin's a good
even.
word choice there.
yeah.
There was a very
Manifest
a
destiny.
frozen envelope that David Stern grabbed. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was the other one that was rigged.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You know what? I have a theory that this year they rigged it so it would be anyone but Dallas, but they did it wrong.
It was incompetent rigging.
Yeah, and it was actually so they got Dallas and they were like, wait a second,
No, but whatever.
we're never clearing the allegations.
It's just what I thought. On some level, I think the NBA loves it. Like deep down, they're like, they're talking about us. This
They
is fine.
like people
Yeah.
thinking it's rigged.
They're
Yeah.
thinking it's like,
Yeah.
people are talking about us right now. It's like with stuff with the refs and
Yeah.
Game 6 of the 2002 Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Well, that's our top 10. Jeff, that was awesome, man. Thanks for
Dude,
coming on.
What if you didn't come to this panel? We would
I
have
know.
not known what we were
Our
talking
show would have
about.
been worse.
a lot
No.
worse.
If I didn't come, you would have been out of here about 40 minutes earlier.
That is true, but our show would have been worse.
Would have been a much worse show.
Follow Jeff on Twitter, jmorton78, the CSG podcast, longest running Nuggets podcast,
The OG.
Since 2011.
the original.
I used to listen all the time. Not to say that I don't now, but you don't publish it all the time. But that was my go-to. You and
Nate.
Nate and you guys,
Ross.
all you guys.
How
man.
how long had podcasts been around at that point?
Not very.
Just
very.
a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then Ross Martin, our old partner, was like, we got to do something and like form our own network or something
Yeah.
like that. And I said, this will never beat radio.
Yeah, come on. Who would ever listen to this?
Little did I know that I would look like an ass.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all knew
Well,
that
yeah,
would
no.
happen.
Yeah,
but just,
that
we didn't
was-
know how. The specifics.
The specifics of the assery. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. each day this week at 7 p.m., we have one of our beat shows breaking down their top 10. Who's tomorrow, Kale? I believe it is Broncos. Broncos are doing their top 10 what ifs at 7 p.m.
That's got to be
Tuesday
a loaded
night.
list. That's got to be a loaded list.
It is a loaded list. And we, as DNVR, are unveiling our Denver sports top 10 throughout this week as well. So keep an eye on our socials for all that. We're counting it down, releasing 2 a day, all the way to number 1, which will be released on Friday. Guys, thanks for listening. Jeff, thanks for joining. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.